This page is the front cover of issue 23 of 64 magazine, costing £3.95. Blimey, those were the days. It's all about the Nintendo 64 naturally. Dominating the cover is Duke Nukem, 0 Hour, boasting guns, shades and crap one-liners. Proper Duke alright. It's tagged as exclusive, so they must have had the inside scoop. There's also a mention of Star Wars Rogue Squadron, with a huge review and massive strategy guide. That was a belter of a game. Dogfights were immense. Micro Machines is there too, shouting about 8-player miniature madness. Classic top-down racer that was always good for a laugh with mates. Other games highlighted are Donkey Kong, South Park, Mario Golf, and Harrier 2001, which sounds like a right laugh. Take to the air and kill some terrorists. Oh, and there's a free Zelda 64 complete solution book being given away with this issue. Can't say fairer than that. This page is an advert for Penny Racers, showing off the customizable nature of the game with all sorts of crazy car designs and track pieces. Alongside this is a subscription deal for 64 magazine, offering a saving of up to £42. If you subscribe, you also get free strategy books for GoldenEye, Banjo-Kazooie and Lilac Wars, which are canny bonuses to be fair. The advert also features screenshots from games like GoldenEye, Banjo-Kazooie, Forsaken, World Cup 98, Yoshi's Story, Diddy Kong Racing, Mario 64 and Mario Kart 64, plus a cheeky look at the Duke Nukem 0 Hour cover we already saw. Issue 23 of 64 magazine is packed with N64 content. Featured prominently is Star Wars, Rogue Squadron, page 30, and a behind-the-scenes look at Flight Game Specialist Paradigm, page 24. Regular features begin on page 5 with the 64 showcase, highlighting Donkey Kong 64, Jet Force Gemini, and Perfect Dark. This issue also includes subscription info, the Nindex, and a preview of the next issue. The Game Busters section provides cheat codes and high scores. Reviews cover South Park, Chameleon Twist 2, Micro Machines 64 Turbo, and Penny Racers. 64 site previews, Duke Nukem, 64, 0 Hour, Tonic Trouble, All-Star Tennis, Mario Golf described as stumpy Italian plumber +4s, Rogue Squadron, and Body Harvest. This 64 magazine issue opens with an editorial lamenting the post-Christmas game lull, despite releases like Ocarina of Time and Turok 2. The editorial anticipates upcoming titles, acknowledging the PlayStation's larger library. The issue previews Donkey Kong 64, confirming its development by Rare, with returning minecart gameplay. Jet Force Gemini also receives coverage, highlighting its futuristic action. The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time's massive success is celebrated, comparing it to Titanic in popularity. A glimpse of Resident Evil 2 on N64 reveals promising progress, featuring zombie combat and puzzles. Finally, Perfect Dark is briefly previewed, with the confirmation of co-op, deathmatch, and hoverbike battles. This issue highlights N64 news and reviews. Post-Zelda, N64 sales in Japan are booming, and the Pikachu game is popular. Titus is developing a Top Gun game. Konami cancelled its American-made game, Survivor. Koei's win-back shooter is delayed for more polish. Worms Armageddon is coming to the N64 with enhanced graphics and new weapons. Electronic Arts is releasing Beetle Adventure Racing, a Need for Speed-style game featuring VW Beetles. Flying Dragon Twin is a new fighter with 2 modes, one standard and one with RPG elements. Zelda tops the charts, followed by Turok 2. Christmas discounts boosted sales of other games. A contest offers a chance to win a game voucher. A humorous top 10 Mario games list is included. Finally, there are ads for strategy guides covering various Ken 64 games, including Zelda and Turok 2. This page is the Game Watch section, listing all the upcoming N64 titles. We're looking at February 99 releases, which include Mario Party and Wipeout 64 for us in the UK. March 99 has got Castlevania 64, Duke Nukem, 0 Hour, FIFA 99, Rayman 2 and Shadowman all coming out over here. Then there's a massive list of games with no confirmed release dates yet, but plenty to look forward to, like Banjo-Tooie, Donkey Kong 64, Perfect Dark, Jet Force Gemini, and even Mother 3, though that one was never going to see the light of day over here, was it? There are screenshots of Jet Force Gemini and Perfect Dark, looking good as always, proper system sellers those two. On the right, there's an advert for Madeira Games. They're banging on about having all the latest US and Japanese games, always in stock, they reckon they get 'em first. They're listing Zelda, Turok 2 and Twisted Edge Snowboarding as examples, plus they've got special offers on a bunch of us games like Mystical Ninja and Yoshi's Story for $10 and NASCAR, 99 for nearly 25 quid. They're also flogging all sorts of N64 bits and bobs, RGB leads, converters, memory, that sort of thing, and pushing their N64 Candelas add-on and expansion cards. We sell everything, they say, blimey. Issue 23's When I'm 64 Letters section addresses several reader inquiries. One letter discusses reflections in WWF Warzone, and another complains about limited coverage of certain games. The magazine replies that page counts reflect game size and reader interest. German censorship of gore in games like Mortal Kombat is also discussed, with the magazine explaining censorship's political nature. A reader questions the value of preview reviews due to game changes, and the magazine defends its practice of reviewing works in progress. Another letter seeks to have their name printed. The section also addresses the lack of demo discs and the N64's future, reassuring readers of upcoming great games. A sidebar with 5 questions includes release and price info on the 64DD, the Interactor, and cheats for Lilat Wars, and a prediction on which game will be better. The star prize, a VRF1 steering wheel, SFX-V3 universal adapter, N64 joypad, 8 meg, 1 meg and 256K memory cards, 1 meg jolt pack and SCART, SVideo and extender cables is awarded to the star letter. This text summarizes reader contributions and advertisements from a magazine. In the 64 Letters section, readers voice opinions on the new magazine design, criticized as childish, ask about N64 game development, propose merging Nintendo magazines, a humorous suggestion, complain about advertisements, and request free games. The 64 Forum seeks reader input on future topics, including opinions on work-in-progress game previews, and a debate about the best Zelda game. The text also includes an advertisement for N64 cheats and tips, offering cheats for numerous N64 and PSX games, and a competition with prizes like a color TV, consoles, and Metal Gear Solid. This page is a preview of Duke Nukem 0 Hour for the N64. It's presented as a classic over-the-top action game, in true Duke Nukem style, with rampaging, reloading, and radiation being the 3 R's of the game. The article humorously speculates on who Duke Nukem is styled after, listing Bruce Willis, Arnie and Sylvester Stallone before concluding it's simply Duke Nukem. It highlights the character's tough action hero persona with wisecracking and shrugging off injuries. The preview mentions the developers are British, and have included plenty of double entendres in the game, comparing it to the humor of Kenneth Williams. The screenshots show gameplay featuring crashed helicopters, giant lizard enemies with rotary machine guns, and in-game adverts such as all-natural ram juice and the Salty Seaman restaurant. The game is published by GT Interactive, developed by Euro.com, and was slated for a UK release in March '99. The article concludes by noting Duke Nukem 0 Hour is Duke's second visit to the N64, originally planned to be similar to PlayStation's Duke Nukem Time to Kill, but aiming to surpass Tomb Raider in quality. This page continues the look at Duke Nukem 0 Hour. It mentions the N64 and PlayStation versions share a time travel theme with alien invasions and kidnapped women, but the N64 version is more about shooting bad guys with heavy weaponry rather than puzzle solving like Tomb Raider, which the PlayStation version resembles. There's a funny sidebar called Alcohol Free, pointing out a sign in the Wild West level referencing Nintendo's censorship of alcohol in Duke games, stating in-game drinks are lemonade instead, but blowing people into bloody chunks is still perfectly fine. Another bit, Did I Break Your Concentration?, describes the plot starting in present-day New York and going to a post-apocalyptic future, and then the Wild West. The GoldenEye section talks about multiplayer, mentioning additions to the mode with a radar and colored dots to show player locations. They've also got levels where you can find doppelgangers, and modes like Duke Match, Kill 'Em All, Last Man Standing, and King of the Hill. It cheekily notes that GoldenEye players will find the GoldenEye level very similar to the stack level in GoldenEye. Finally, OSRB, or Obligatory Sniper Rifle Boxout section is dedicated to the sniper rifle, highlighting its multiple zoom levels and showing screenshots of using it to shoot enemies like John F. Piggody. It jokes about games journalists always needing to feature sniper rifles in previews. This page is all about Tonic Trouble, a new game from Ubisoft that was released in March of '99. It's billed as a 3D platformer, a bit like Bomberman 64 apparently. The main article, Pep yourself up with a tonic, explains the rather daft plot where this alien called Ed accidentally spills a tonic onto Earth, turning all the plants and vegetables into monstrous creatures. Your job is to guide Ed to sort out this mess. There's mention of some bizarre enemies you'll encounter, like manic carrots, battling beetroot, flying toast, and even a screaming robotic suitcase. They say it's got 10 different worlds to explore, and lots of subgames. Visually it looks quite colourful from the screenshots, showing Ed running around these strange transformed landscapes. One picture shows him with some rather fetching polka dot wings, mentioning you get to fly in certain sections. A smaller article on the side is called Teleport Trouble, and it seems even teleporting in this game is a bit of a bother, as Ed gets sucked through piece by piece and then has to reform on the other side. Another bit highlights a villain called Grsare, the Hellish, who apparently starts off friendly, but turns nasty after drinking the tonic. They also mention Ed can pick up chameleon-like color-blending powers. It all sounds rather bonkers but potentially a good bit of fun. This page features 2 games. First up, it's All-Star Tennis 99 from Ubisoft, due out in March 99. They're saying it's all about simulation, but it sounds a bit daft if you ask me. They've got this bomb tennis mode, where the tennis balls explode. Apparently if you're caught in the blast, you lose a point. There are also special power shots, like teleport shots and fireball shots, and you can build up a power bar for these. Some of the players have unusual names too, like Randy Powell. It's supposed to be finished soon, and they'll have a review next issue. Then there's Mario Golf from Nintendo and Camelot. They mentioned that Play Magazine liked Camelot's PlayStation golf game, Everybody's Golf, so they have high hopes for this one. It's got 6 courses based on Mario worlds, familiar characters, and they are aiming for realistic physics and good controls. You can play as Mario, Luigi, and apparently Princess and Bowser will be in it too. No release date yet, but they'll let us know when they get more info. Gayue. The rest of the page is ads, one for Visions Online, looks like a mail order place, with lists of games for all sorts of consoles. Then down at the bottom there's another one for Skill, an importer, mentioning PlayStation, Nintendo 64 and Dreamcast. This article, Paradigm Shift, profiles Paradigm Entertainment, known for their N64 games, particularly Pilotwings 64. The company's roots lie in military flight simulators, evolving into the video game industry in 1992 and becoming independent in 1997. Pilotwings 64 demonstrated the N64's capacity for complex simulation, typically found on PCS7. The article previews their upcoming titles, including Harrier 2001, an air combat simulator aiming for a more realistic experience, and Duck Dodgers, along with 3 other unannounced games. Harrier 2001 features a near-future setting with a retired pilot drawn into a global conflict. The developers acknowledge the technical limitations of the N64, yet are optimistic about pushing the console's capabilities further. While a Pilotwings 64 sequel was explored, Nintendo ultimately did not pursue it, due to resource constraints. Paradigm Entertainment is developing 2 N64 games, Duck Dodgers and Harrier 2001. Duck Dodgers, titled Duck Dodgers in the Third and One-Half Dementia, stars Daffy Duck and Marvin the Martian, with the developer expanding into character-based games due to popularity. The game includes a special walk mode to capture Daffy's personality. Harrier 2001 is a flight sim with arcade elements, starring mercenary pilot Jake Cross. It features 50 missions, and aims to push the N64's limits, drawing on the same technology as Pilotwings. Originally titled Aces of the Un, it's aiming for a summer 1999 release. Other Paradigm N64 titles are reviewed. Pilotwings 64 receives praise for graphics, Aerofighter's Assault is panned, and F1 World Grand Prix is highly praised as a top-tier racing simulator. This review section of the magazine features game reviews and more. Ninfo boxes provide quick game information. The main review focuses on Star Wars Rogue Squadron, with smaller reviews for South Park, Chameleon Twist 2, Micro Machines, and Penny Racers. The page details the magazine's scoring system, a percentage-based system, including descriptions for each score band and a breakdown of what they look for in graphics, audio, gameplay, and challenge categories, each scored out of 5 Nintendo 64 logos. An overall score is also provided. Other sections cover N64 controller button functions, game alternatives, and soundbites. Additional information includes the $64,000 question, worth the money, PAL performance, memory options, and import game sources. Star Wars Rogue Squadron for N64 is a welcome addition to the Star Wars game lineup. This shoot 'em up, developed by Factor 5/LucasArts and published by Nintendo, supports up to 4 players and utilizes the expansion pack. The game, priced at £59.99, puts players in the cockpit as Luke Skywalker in 16 missions set between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. Missions include facing a Wampa and escorting Y-Wings, using the analog stick for ship control. The game boasts high-resolution graphics with the expansion pack, smooth animation, and detailed environments, enhanced by Star Wars music and effects. However, the review notes some issues, including mission repetition, a linear structure, and graphical fogging. While the game excels in many areas, it notably lacks actual space missions. The game allows for 3 save slots to store game progress, medals, and scores. This magazine page reviews Star Wars: Rogue Squadron on the N64. The gameplay section details various missions and vehicle strategies. Using the X-Wing's ion cannon to disable vehicles and engaging TIE interceptors are highlights. Y-Wings are good for ground targets, while ATSTs require proton torpedoes. A convoy escort mission is also mentioned. Y-Wings a page then encourages exploration of Tatooine locations like Jabba's Palace and Mos Eisley. It also includes instructions on accessing and controlling an ATST, with a humorous call to blast Ewoks. Further gameplay reveals a moth diving mission involving escorting a hovertruck convoy, with a story unfolding about an Imperial moth. The review humorously notes that Wedge Antilles needs rescuing often. The review concludes by comparing Rogue Squadron to classic flight sims and recommending it to fans of Star Wars flight combat, even for those initially critical of the game. Hangar Time reviews the craft available in Star Wars: Rogue Squadron. The X-Wing offers balanced attack, while the A-Wing prioritizes speed. The Speeder tackles its ATS with harpoons, the Y-Wing boasts heavy armor and bombs, and the V-Wing provides speed and firepower. Missions include defending civilians from TIE bombers and destroying an AT-AT facility. The review praises the game's satisfaction and action. A mission features Han Solo on Corellia, including a secret Millennium Falcon. Medals unlock promotions and hidden levels, like the Death Star trench run. Gameplay tips include effective Y-Wing bombing strategies, and facing turrets head-on. The game's replayability, free roam style, and attention to detail, even down to individual stormtroopers, are highlighted. The next page showcases a review for Star Wars: Rogue Squadron in 64 magazine. It's a glowing review, giving it an impressive 92% overall. The review is broken down into sections, starting with tips for taking down AT-ATs, advising players to use brakes and harpoons. For Fog is strong with this one. Section discusses the game's draw distance and pop-up, but notes it's only really noticeable when you're spectating, not when you're actually playing. Strong in the Force talks about the graphics, saying they're very good and clearly designed for the expansion pack. Flying the Falcon mentions getting gold medals unlocks the Millennium Falcon. There's a section on bottom line controls, showing the N64 controller layout for the game. Alternatives mentioned are Shadows of the Empire and Lylat Wars, both also on the Nintendo 64, and reviewed in previous issues of 64 magazine. The rating section gives top marks with 9 out of 9 N64 logos for graphics, audio, gameplay, and challenge. The second opinion praises the game as initially disappointing but quickly becoming hectic and gripping, calling it a must for Star Wars fans. The soundbite reinforces this, calling it a must for all Star Wars fans and everyone else too. The page also features screenshots, showcasing different aspects of the gameplay, like taking down AT-ATs and flying through canyons. 64 magazine reviewed South Park on the N64, questioning if it was good. The game, developed by Iguana and published by Acclaim, supported 1 to 4 players, Rumble Puck, and Expansion Puck. Priced at £39.99, it stayed true to the show's humor, featuring the original voice cast and funny soundbites. Based on the Turok 2 engine, the game had a bizarre story involving a meteor and Barbra Streisand. It offered 5 levels with boss fights. The review highlighted the cow launcher weapon. Pros included sound effects and visuals, while cons were repetitiveness, fogging, slowdown, and limited single-player replay. Screenshots displayed familiar characters, settings, and enemies like aliens and turkeys. The game saved progress via controller pack. 64 magazine's review of South Park on N64 is mixed. Despite capturing the show's look and sound, the game suffers from repetitive single-player gameplay, Likened to a less exciting Turok 2, players face waves of simplistic enemies, with challenging sections like Attack of the Dots, forcing strategic weapon use against bullet sponge bosses. The reviewer finds the single player lacking variety. However, the game has positives. The visitor mothership level is praised for its tension, and alien abduction sequences offer a creepy experience. Multiplayer, especially deathmatch, is highlighted as a potential source of fun. The review also details the game's arsenal, including comical weapons and power-ups. Visually, the game benefits from the expansion pack, even surpassing the show's visuals. This N64 review gives South Park a 73% rating. The review highlights graphics, audio, gameplay, and challenge using controller icons. It details standard N64 controls, and suggests Turok 2 and GoldenEye as superior alternatives, both more expensive. Screenshots showcase in-game action, including Kenny, a shrunken Cartman, deathmatch characters, noting the lack of Jesus or Satan due to Nintendo's ban, and a turkey boss. The review criticizes the deathmatch mode as a Turok 2 clone, with reskinned weapons and slowdown issues. Single player is deemed repetitive. A second opinion calls it a rather dull Turok 2 clone. The review mentions celebrity voice acting, including George Clooney, the actress from Species, Robert Smith, and Henry Winkler. The soundbite sums it up as a cheap rehash of Turok 2, but not as good. Chameleon Twist 2, a Nintendo 64 platformer, receives a 75% rating. The review praises improved character design, now resembling chameleons, and the addition of a parasol. Gameplay centers on tongue-based actions like swinging and grabbing. Set in 6 themed lands, the game features bright graphics, imaginative characters, and responsive controls. While enjoyable, especially for younger players, the game's ease and linearity limit its replayability. Infinite continues are also mentioned, making the game easier. The review includes a controller layout and memory options, allowing up to 4 saved games. Ratings are provided for graphics, audio, gameplay, and challenge. Alternatives include Chameleon Twist 1 and Banjo-Kazooie. Screenshots showcase gameplay, including a boss battle. The soundbite calls it fun but short-lived. A second opinion questions if it surpasses Mario 64 or Banjo-Kazooie. This page is a review of Micro Machines 64 Turbo, scoring a 46% rating. Codemasters are both the publisher and developer for this racing game, originating from the UK and released on March 26, priced at £39.99. It's a game for up to 8 players, supporting the Rumble Pack, and boasts being fast, fun, responsive and gorgeous, albeit going over familiar territory. The game saves championship stats and custom data using the memory and controller packs. The review highlights the small, breakable nature of the Micro Machines, promising they'll blow you away. It features compact, collectible cars racing in household environments, like a breakfast table and garden pond, complete with crazy dragonflies. Every vehicle uses the same weapons, adding to the heart-pounding fun and destruction. The game offers various racing modes, including single races, time trials and championships. A section called The Originals introduces a character named Spider, a 50s throwback who's been with Micro Machines since the beginning. The Microgasmic section praises the ingenious top-down view that sets it apart from other racers. Sizzler points cover the exciting gameplay, mentioning cheesy ramps, rulers as bridges, and weapons like cartoonish mallets and pincers, even comparing the weapon and pickup usage to Inspector Gadget. Tiny Terrors highlights the character selection from previous Micro Machines games, offering diverse options for 1 to 8 players, either against the computer or with friends. The next page in 64 magazine continues the review of Micro Machines 64 Turbo, focusing on the finer details. It starts with bottom-line controls, showing the N64 controller layout, explaining how the D-pad steers the vehicles, a button accelerates, B brakes or reverses, and the C buttons handle weapons and sound. Under alternatives, it suggests Mario Kart 64 and Penny Racers as options if you're after something similar, noting their original retail prices and review scores from previous issues of the magazine. The rating section uses a stack of N symbols to visually show scores for graphics, audio, gameplay and challenge, and it looks like they've all got top marks. The overall rating is a fantastic 91%, and the soundbite neatly sums it up as the mini racing game. There's a second opinion box too, highlighting the game's fun for multiple players, especially with 8 people sharing controllers, making it a frenzied party game and suggesting you need a big telly to get the full effect. Penny Racers for the N64 is a racing game from THQ, released in February 1999. The review highlights its extensive car customization and unlockable tracks, drawing comparisons to Mario Kart. Players can tweak car settings and steal parts from rivals after races, though the AI's relentless nature can be frustrating. Gameplay is described as inconsistent, with visibility issues on certain tracks and the advantage of superior cars. The review criticizes the graphics and uninspired track designs, particularly wilderness circuits. While the 4-player mode is engaging, and cars can be saved for multiplayer, the game receives a mediocre overall score of 66%. Positive points include the customization and car selection, while the game is critiqued for bland tracks, blocky car designs, and potential frustration. A second opinion suggests Penny Racers improves with progression, but better alternatives exist. PubSec. This Cheat Central page offers codes and passwords for several N64 games. South Park boasts numerous cheats for comical effects like big heads and different characters. Star Wars: Rogue Squadron uses passwords to unlock features like infinite lives and various ships, including the Millennium Falcon. Micro Machines 64 Turbo provides simple cheats entered as player names to unlock tracks and lives. Turok 2: Seeds of Evil features bizarre codes like turning diamonds gold and putting baby faces on enemies. The page also includes a reminder of the N64 controller layouts. Caddy. Cheat Central offers cheat codes for 2 N64 games. In Rush 2, Extreme Racing USA, holding all controller buttons simultaneously on the settings screen unlocks a cheat menu with options like Invisible Car, Super Speed, and Suicide Mode. Glover, a puzzle game, requires pausing and entering C-button combinations for cheats such as infinite lives, Powerball, and camera controls. Additionally, an advertisement promotes Nintendo 64 Gold, a 480-page book filled with game strategies, solutions, and cheats, bundled with a free memory card, available for £14.95. This page showcases the Score Zone section, as per usual, highlighting top scores achieved by readers across a range of N64 titles. We've got the usual suspects, like Banjo-Kazooie, 1080 Degrees Snowboarding, GoldenEye, Snowboard Kids, Star Fox 64, or Lilac Wars as it's known here, and F1 World Grand Prix. There's also Weetrix Classic, Top Gear Rally, Fighter's Destiny, Chameleon Twist, Turok Training Level, Tetrasphere, and Yoshi's Story, all with reader-submitted high scores and times. It also details how to get your own score featured in the magazine by sending in photographic proof of your achievement. Featured at the bottom is the Score Zone pinboard, showing pictures of some of the featured players who've sent in their snaps. This page presents high scores for 4 N64 racing games: Diddy Kong Racing, Wave Race 64, Mario Kart 64, and F-Zero X. Each game lists track times and top players, including names like Adam Charlton, Alan Dundas, and Jeffrey Vanderaa. Diddy Kong Racing features tracks like Ancient Lake and Fossil Canyon, while Wave Race 64 highlights Sunny Beach and Glacier Coast. Mario Kart 64 showcases tracks such as Luigi Raceway and Rainbow Road, and F-Zero X features tracks like Silence and Mute City. Additionally, the page includes 2 advertisements. One promotes a Nintendo 64 tidy cabinet for £29.99, offering storage for games and magazines. The other advertises the Ultimate Player competition, with a chance to win a Trident pad and a 256K memory card from Logic 3 each month based on high scores. Department 1 is a video game shop specializing in buying, selling, and exchanging games, with a focus on older consoles. They offer a buy-sell exchange service, buying games at half their selling price, and offering 2/3 value for exchanges. The ad promotes the Dreamcast with upcoming games, and highlights the Nintendo 64, offering a wide selection of UK, US, and Japanese second-hand software, along with hardware accessories. They also stock Game Boy Color and Neo Geo Pocket consoles. Department 1 provides console repairs, conversions, and convenient mail order with no membership fees. They boast next-day delivery, a no-quibble guarantee, and free delivery on orders over £10. Customers can also expect to get new releases on release day and can enjoy advance play on the latest games. This page showcases a player's guide for Star Wars: Rogue Squadron on the Nintendo 64, focusing on 2 missions. Level 1 is titled Ambush at Mos Eisley, where you team up with Wedge Antilles to patrol Mos Eisley and tackle suspicious activity. The mission objectives are to protect homesteads and Mos Eisley, destroy probe droids, and eliminate Imperial forces using the default squing. The guide gives tips on taking out probe droids and TIE bombers. Level 2 is Rendezvous on Barkesh, with a mission briefing about escorting rebel supplies. Objectives are simply to escort the convoy to safety, again using the default X-wing. Imperial forces include probe droids, TIE bombers, stormtroopers, ATSTs, and gun turrets. The guide suggests taking out probe droids initially, then dealing with tailist walkers and TIE bombers, advising players to keep the convoy safe. It points out that the ATSTs are stationary, making them easier targets. In Rogue Squadron, Level 3, Search for the Nonna, tasks players with rescuing a downed rebel crew before the Empire. Piloting an A-wing, players face diverse Imperial forces, including TIE bombers and ground units. The key is swift retrieval of the Nonna, followed by efficient defense. A gold medal demands rapid elimination of all enemies. Level 4, Defection at Corellia, involves protecting defecting officer Crix Medine. Players pilot a speeder, securing key locations while he escapes. Confronting probe droids, TIE bombers, AT-ATs, and more, the mission utilizes rebel turrets, Wedge, and the Millennium Falcon. Objectives involve protecting critical structures and evacuation shuttles. Securing a gold medal requires destroying all TIE bombers, including the Imperial Sea Forces. Level 5, Liberation of Gerard V, places you in an X-wing to aid citizens. Your goals: escort Y-wings, disable civilian yachts, and destroy a gun turret. Expect TIEs, ATPTs, tanks, and missile launchers. Missile turrets pose a threat. Eliminate them quickly. Immobilize shuttles with ion cannons. Prioritize disabling shuttles before other targets. Speed and accuracy are key for a gold medal. Level 6, the Jade Moon, has you supporting ground troops. Objectives are to use trenches to evade missile turrets, destroy the shield generator, and protect General Medine's forces. Face TIE bombers, TIEs, stormtroopers, and more. Use trenches, eliminate ATPTs, and destroy the shield generator. Beware of a second shield generator activation. A gold medal requires destroying all missile launchers and maximizing collateral damage. The next page delves into the strategy for Star Wars Rogue Squadron, specifically levels 7 and 8. Level 7 is Imperial Construction Yards, where you're tasked with taking out the AT-ST factories. The advice here is to be stealthy initially, taking out radar dishes, then tackling the heavily defended factories, especially the AT plants. You'll be flying a speeder and facing a whole host of Imperial nasties. For a gold medal, it's all about maximum damage and taking out those TIE fighters. Level 8, Assault on Kill 2, moves you into a Your Wing for a canyon run to destroy a sensor array, spaceport, and garrisons. The tip here is to follow the Imperial shuttle, use the Old Wing's toughness to your advantage, and clear out turrets along the way. For gold, speed and thorough destruction are key. Take out turrets and missile launchers as you go, figure out the spaceport location early, and skip following the shuttle for a faster run. Levels 9 and 10 of Rogue Squadron involve rescuing Wedge and freeing rebel prisoners on Kessel. Level 9, Rescue on Kessel, has you using an X-wing with an ion cannon to disable an Imperial train-carrying Wedge, facing TIEs, AT-STs, and ground defenses. The goal is to disable the train and rescue Wedge. For a gold medal, destroy a specific convoy, Kakores. Level 10, Prisons of Kessel, tasks you with protecting General Medine's shuttle and destroying a power generator to free prisoners. You'll face TIE bombers and speed bikes, in addition to the usual enemies. Protect the shuttle, destroy the generator, and then protect the shuttle again while the commandos rescue prisoners. Gold medal requirements involve speed and maximum kills, focusing on gun turrets near the generator, and quickly eliminating TIE interceptors. Strafing ground troops landing on the pads also boosts your score. Power. Stage 1, America. Daisy alerts you to a bug threat. Gather ammo, grab a shotgun, and drive south to fight aliens. Clear the area, then locate the police station. 1966. Find ammo and a machine gun. Use the map and sewers to bypass a roadblock and stop an alien harvesting wave. Protect the school children by driving them to the church in the ice cream van. Then, fight off another wave at the school. Use the school bus to bypass a roadblock. Find a faster car and defeat another wave. Get a hot rod from Carl's Custom Cars. Launch off a fallen bridge to the school for another harvesting wave. Find a rifle, then the insane VW Beetle. Destroy the alien processor on the hospital roof with the helicopter. This page is a playing guide for body harvest covering Stage 2 and Stage 3. Stage 2 starts with grabbing a helicopter to scout for the next stage gate. You're tasked with finding Black Adam on a rooftop, and after defeating him you must eliminate 3 scorpions. The guide then directs you to find pieces of the Waken Tinker totem pole across different locations, and finally head to the Indian Chief to get the Vision Quest watch. This watch then reveals a path leading to the military base. Stage 3 begins by jumping back into a helicopter and flying east to find a gateway to the next area. You'll park your chopper and proceed on foot through mountains and a desert area to locate a house where you can find weapons and health. The guide highlights dealing with alien snipers and burrowers along the way. To progress, you need to find nitro fuel to boost through a sliding gate and acquire a tank. The final objective is to use the tank to destroy the alien processor, with Black Adam appearing to taunt you during the fight. The guide advises keeping on the move during the processor battle as there are snipers guarding it, and once defeated, Daisy sends a beacon to save your progress and open Stage 3. There are helpful tips throughout, like using the shotgun for burrowers, the machine gun for harvesters, and the tank for the processor. Stage 4 of Body Harvest involves using a UFO obtained from the Man in Black. Your mission is to destroy 5 hidden doomsday bombs before a timer expires, using the UFO's energy wave. Stage 5 begins with navigating to a shield wall and destroying the alien shield generator with your UFO's energy beam. This transforms your craft into the Alpha Tank. The next challenge is a tough boss battle against a large alien that launches spiked balls and fireballs. Avoid these attacks while targeting the boss's claws and firing until it takes to the air. When in the air, blast it as it attacks from above. The tip: use the energy beam attack on the 4 grey pillars near the shield generator. The next page is a playing guide for Body Harvest, continuing on from the previous page. This time it's all about Siberia 1991 and stages 6 and 7. Stage 6 kicks off with zombies in a new ice-cold area. Daisy sends you a message about it all. You need to find a combine harvester, naturally, to mince up the zombies. Once you've spoken to the farmer, you can borrow his combine and get to work carving up those undead blighters. After that, it's onto a train, speak to the FAT controller to get the train going and use the starting handle, then break through a wall of ice to get across the track. Stage 7 is all about a hovercraft and a Harrier jump jet. You need to use the hovercraft to float down the river to a processor, blast a beastie with your machine gun, and then follow an ice trail to a village. Later on, you'll be in a Harrier jump jet, battling that processor and trying to destroy it with rockets. There are tips throughout for dealing with various enemies and situations, like using the bulldozer to knock down locked pump houses and activating levers in the correct sequence to shut down a radioactive leak in Stage 7. Looks like a right action-packed couple of stages. In Body Harvest's Stages 3 and 4, you face alien threats in different time periods. Stage 3, set in 1941 Greece, involves rescuing oil workers from bombed rigs, navigating a lake filled with alien creatures in an aquatank, and defeating an alien processor. Utilize your APC, helicopter, and Daisy's beacon to survive. Stage 4 shifts to 1991 Siberia, where you battle harvesters and alien invaders. Find a scientist to get missile launch codes and destroy a radio building, triggering a massive alien wave. Protect Alpha Command while eliminating harvesters and an alien processor. If Alpha Command falls, you must return to Stage 1 to rescue Daisy. Wave. Stage 5 of Body Harvest, Alien Comet 2016, is the final confrontation against the alien creatures. Starting in the Alpha Tank, your objective is to eliminate all alien life. Begin by destroying a structure for weapons, then head north, eliminating enemies and structures. Rescue Daisy after navigating a valley filled with threats. Next, destroy the shield generator by taking out its 4 surrounding pillars, and then the central red spire. Alpha Command will then aid you against a boss monster, a giant flying beast. Avoid its electrical attacks and target its arm cannons. After both arms are destroyed, target the tail. Once defeated, the monster explodes, transporting you to the Alien Comet level. On the Alien Comet level, eliminate alien bugs and structures, finding the resonator weapon. Navigate through a crystal area, cross bridges and rivers, and gather supplies. After taking out snipers and clearing buildings, use plasma bombs. Find a path across deep water, use laser-guided missiles, and destroy buildings. Finally, destroy a spire with an electrical current to complete the stage. Hey. This page is a playing guide for Body Harvest. It continues the walkthrough from the previous page, detailing the alien comet level. The guide advises players to keep away from acid puddles to prevent hover tank damage and directs them through gates and alien encounters. It mentions rescuing Daisy from a tower by activating a red switch. The guide instructs players to destroy thruster engines in the corners of the alien city and suggests speaking to Daisy to learn the next objective in the central command tower. It details a boss fight strategy against a large alien creature, recommending players target its arm cannons then its head. The guide concludes with instructions to defeat Black Adam with the shotgun, to complete the mission and save Earth. Screenshots illustrate key moments from the game, including encounters with enemies and dialogue boxes with characters like Daisy and Black Adam. This page showcases a special offer for Nintendo 64 game guides and a subscription to 64 Solutions magazine. It's advertising a range of strategy guides for popular N64 titles like Zelda 64, Banjo-Kazooie, GoldenEye, Lilat Wars, that's Star Fox 64 to some, World Cup 98, and Turok 2. There's also a guide for As of Nintendo 64 and Nintendo 64 Secrets, Strategies, Solutions Gold. The page mentions Maximum Solutions, Zelda 64, which is pitched as an unofficial full-color guide to help you through the massive Zelda adventure, including locations of hidden items and weapons. Similarly, Maximum Solutions, Turok 2 is highlighted as a vital companion for Turok 2, with maps and walkthroughs for both Turok 2 and the original Turok game. They're pushing 64 Solutions magazine subscriptions, advertising it as the best-selling Nintendo 64 tips guide, with 132 pages packed with hints, cheats, complete guides, and mapped solutions. You can get an annual subscription for 6 issues, or a subscription that includes a Nintendo 64 game of your choice. Games pictured for the subscription deal include Yoshi's Story, Banjo-Kazooie, Diddy Kong Racing, and GoldenEye. There are 5 simple ways to order listed: phone, email, web, fax and mail, along with contact details for Paragon Publishing. The bottom of the page includes an order form, where you can tick the items you want, fill in your details, and payment method. This page is advertising a subscription deal to 64 magazine. It's called the Mega Deal. For just £35 you can get 12 issues delivered, and you can choose one of 8 top-end 64 games completely free. The games you can pick from are GoldenEye, Forsaken, Yoshi's Story, Super Mario 64, Banjo-Kazooie, Diddy Kong Racing, World Cup 98, and Mario Kart 64. They're also pushing a plus option, where instead of a game, you can get one of their strategy guides. They're showing off guides for Lilat Wars, GoldenEye, and Banjo-Kazooie. There are different subscription lengths available: a standard 6 issues, 12 issues, or the 12 issues mega deal. The advert highlights you'll get the magazine before it's even in the shops and save a good chunk of money on the normal price. Finally, there's an order form to fill out to get signed up. 64 Magazine's Nindex reviews N64 games. The Game Champs charts rank Zelda as the best with 98%. Games scoring 95% or higher earn a gold medal award. A chimp section highlights the worst games. Reviews include 1080 Degrees Snowboarding, 82%, Aero Fighters Assault, 20%, Aero Gauge, 40%, Airboarder, 80%, All-Star Baseball 99, 89%, All-Star Baseball 99, 89%, Brave Spirits Wrestling 75%, Automove 2 91%, Chameleon Twist 64%, Chameleon Twist 64%, Chameleon Twist 64%, Cruisin' USA 22%. A Hit the Heights section lists top platformers. Zelda, Banjo-Kazooie, and Super Mario 64 are the top 3. Doraemon receives a score of 30%. This 64 Magazine N-Index review highlights N64 games. Scores range widely, from the abysmal 10% for Glory of St. Andrews to near-perfect scores like 98% for The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, and 95% for GoldenEye and IS-98. Other notable titles include Diddy Kong Racing, 86%, Duke Nukem 64, 93%, and Gex, Enter the Gecko, 90%. Genres span racing, F-Zero X, Extreme G, fighting, Fighter's Destiny, Mace, The Dark Age, sports, FIFA, Road to World Cup 98, John Madden, and platformers, Glover. Some games, like Cruisin' World, 24%, and Hexen, 30%, received poor reviews. The Hit the Bull list includes GoldenEye, Forsaken, Turok 2, Buck Bumble, and Lilac Wars. This N64 game review roundup features a diverse range of genres. Standouts include Mischief Makers, 94%, Mortal Kombat 486%, and NBA Courtside and NFL Quarterback Club 99, both at 90%. Several games score in the 80s, including Mario Kart 64 78%, NHL 99 87%. Conversely, MK Mythologies, Sub-Zero 46%, NBA Hangtime 45%, and Off-Road Challenge 27% received poor reviews. Sports titles like NBA Jam 99, Multi-Racing Championship, and Rush 2, Extreme Racing garnered positive feedback. The review also notes some puzzle and arcade conversions, and mentions the answers to cryptic crosswords and a going home in an ambulance, reference for St. Andrew's Golf. Nindex reviews a variety of N64 games. Space Station Silicon Valley earns 87%, while Star Soldier, Vanishing Earth struggles at 65%. Super Mario 64 remains strong at 92%. Snowboard Kids scores 83%. WWF Warzone leads the Black Belts category at 90%. Top Gear Rally hits 85%. Turok 2 Seeds of Evil gets 90%. Wave Race 64 scores 83%. World Cup 98 is a top football game at 93%. F1 World Grand Prix tops the Top Gear section with 94%. Several wrestling games like WCW vs NWO Revenge and WCW vs NWO World Tour make appearances. Other noteworthy scores include Yoshi's Story, 79%, and Weetrix, 86%. The reviewers are listed. The next page is all about getting involved with 64 magazine. They're asking readers to vote for the greatest N64 game of all time in the next issue, listing Zelda, GoldenEye, Mario 64, Banjo-Kazooie, and Clay Fighter as the contenders. There's the Ninfol section, with all the staff details as usual. They're pushing their special Reserve Club subscription deal, offering 10 magazines for £6.99 with some free gifts. There are price lists for Nintendo 64 feet extras like memory cards and rumble packs, and for a load of N64 games, including titles like 1080 Snowboarding, Blast Corps, Clay Fighter 63 1/3, Diddy Kong Racing, Doom 64, GoldenEye, Mario Kart 64, Pilot Wings 64, Quake 64, Star Fox 64, Super Mario 64, Turok 2, Wave Race 64, Weetrix Yoshi's Story, and Zelda. You can also see prices for Nintendo 64 controllers, and even Game Boy Color bits and bobs. They even have a section comparing their prices to PlayStation deals. There's a stop press notice about having plenty of controllers in stock, and a big advert for a Max PC system. They are also advertising Game Boy Color deals, and their special reserve Big Club discount shops for mail order. If you subscribe, you can get free gifts, like memory cards and rumble packs. And of course, a reminder to reserve your copy of 64 magazine with your news agent today. It's all there, packed to the gunnels as they say.